Closest uncle both passed away latter part of this year, and through all the turmoil, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff out there that you need to know, but no one tells you. Or it's, oh, I just went through that a couple years ago, and you're like, thanks for telling me after I could have already used the information. So, yeah. So we'll get straight into it. So we're going to talk about money. And money is used to provide for your lifestyle. You're not going to have the fancy smartphone if you don't have money, or, well, if your parents don't have it, if you don't have it. It's used to provide for your family. And when I was in your shoes, I thought, well, family stuff, who cares? That's so far in the future. And now I kind of got one. So I'm like, okay, what do I do now? And it's also used to make the world a better place. And you'll hear me say this more than once. A poor person cannot feed a whole bunch of people in Kenya. A poor person cannot buy a house for their family if something happens to the parents and you got to bring more people into your family. That's what happened to my mom and her family. It was 9 of them, 5 kids and 4 who were adopted, but they were all living under the same house. You can't do that if you don't have money. And understanding money now will help you to avoid a lot of things in the future. And we're going to talk about life. This decisions you make now is going to have a direct impact on what goes on later. How many of you are you thinking about college? And where are you going to go? Most of you? Well, I'm going to try not to step on any toes, and believe me, college is a good thing, but I'm going to be thinking I'm going to teach you to think outside the box a little bit, because it's not as simple as, oh, pick the perfect college and there you go, that's it. There's a lot more to it. And you want to find out what you want to do. When I was growing up, my father was retired Air Force, and I know it was his dream for me to go into the military, and that just wasn't what I wanted to do. But I had to figure out what I wanted to do, not what he wanted to do, not what my mom wanted me to do, not what my friends were doing. You're the only one who has to live with yourself, so you've got to find out what you want to do, not what everyone else wants you to do. And this quote by Les Brown, this was just deep the first time I heard this. How many of you have heard of, have seen this quote before? A couple of you? The graveyard is the richest place on the earth, because it is here that you'll find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was too afraid to take that first step, keep with the problem, or determined to carry out their dream. And that's really what this is about, money in life. It's about what can you do to unlock your potential and follow your dreams so that you don't have that one dream you wanted to carry out and it goes to the grave with you because you didn't stand up and push through whatever was hindering you. So, now we're going to talk about a few money myths. First, money is the root of all evil. How many of you have heard that one? And another one, credit's the best thing ever. And credit can be a tool, but you gotta be so that you can spend money on what you want to spend money on, not paying bills and paying credit card bills. And the other one is you only need enough. Now, I'm not going to get too religious here, but this is something that I had to display because I have to counter this. And And you've probably heard that money is the root of all evil. And the scripture that this comes from is 1 Timothy 6:10. And essentially, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. That's what it's so the root of evil. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Yes.
Okay. So basically it means like if you desire money more than you desire anything else, then you'll do anything to get it, which means that you'll do bad things or good things for it.
Oh, you hear that? Yeah, if you desire, if the money, who's in control? Are you in control or is the money in control? And part of this is money is amoral. And that's probably a weird term you haven't heard too many times. I know I didn't really hear this. Dave Ramsey is the first one I heard of who coined this. Amoral means that it doesn't have morals. An example, this chair. I can take this chair, and if you like it, and I can give it to someone who does counseling, and someone can be counseled in this chair. Or I can take the chair and throw it through that window, which would probably get me kicked out, arrested, I'd have to pay for it, lots of fun stuff. But is the chair good or evil? I see there's some sarcasm. That's good. It means y'all are awake, at least so far. This chair is not good or evil. It's how this chair is used that determines whether or not it's just a chair. It's just sitting here. And same with money. You can take money and, I had an example. I was heading home from where I work in downtown Denver, and there's a homeless man sitting next to me, and I gave him $10. Or I could have taken that money and I wouldn't have been able to hire a hitman for $10, but I can hire hitmen with money. The money is still money. It could be good. It's the use that determines whether it's good or bad, not the money itself. Now we're going to talk a little bit about credit as well. Now, I'm not going to get too into this because I would rather get into the fun stuff, which is talking about college a little bit. Plus, I want everyone to stay awake, including me. I have a 7-month-old, and they're flying back in from Florida, so if I act like I'm half asleep, it's because I probably am. So, you'll often hear that we're going to borrow something. We can buy this on credit. And I'm not going to tell you that you should never use credit or never use. They're like, hey, I have $10,000 here. What can you do for me? They walk out of the store paying $9,000. So before you even really look at it, it's a difference of $3,100 because the typical person pays $2,000 worth of interest. The typical millionaire walks into the store and gets a discount. It adds up over a period of time. Even with a house, if you buy a $250,000 house, that's about what you can get here in Colorado Springs. And with current interest rates, if you pay a 30-year mortgage, you're paying about $430,000 for that house by the time you pay for the interest. So $250,000, $400,000. And it's not to say you should never do it, but think about it. Don't just pay on payments. That's how they get you. Oh, you only need to pay $200 a month. And they hide the fact that you're going to pay thousands of dollars more for the item because you're only paying the payments. You're only looking at the fact that you're paying, $150, $200, $500 a month. But when you add them all up, that's what the typical millionaire does. They look at the true cost. Normal people ask how much per month. The typical millionaire says how much. It's huge. Questions on that?
Yeah.
And by the way, if I ever say if I'm going too fast or I say something that's off the wall, stop me because I'm used to it. Number one, because I have a 7-month-old. Number two, Throughout my career, which we'll talk about in a bit, I trained people to do their jobs. And I'm in the financial services industry, so I get to, not play with money. You get in trouble for doing that. But, talk about that a bit more. So you only need enough. And my issue with this is enough is, I just need enough to pay bills. I need enough to provide for the here and now. But how many people do you know where they didn't think about the future and now they're only living on Social Security? I know my parents, my father had a whole lot of debt, and my mom, she's 73 and she's paying off debt because no one ever taught her how to use her money. And she only had enough. She never worried about saving. What do I do for the future? How do I do more for people? How do I give? What if you have a friend in need, a family member in need, or something blows up in your own life? If you only have enough, how are you going to pay for that emergency? Credit. And then that's how you start getting behind. So, and really, in my position, and this was a bit weird, when I started thinking about my daughter, I realized that, I want her to grow up not worrying about how she's going to pay for things. I don't want her to be a spoiled princess, but I want her to be able to pursue her dreams, and she can only do that if she doesn't have debt, if she doesn't have to worry about, all right, do I have to work more in college? I want to get her further along than I was, and I want to build on what my parents did for me. So, coming into that, we're going to talk a bit about college, choosing the right one, how do you pick what you want to do for the rest of your life? I mean, when I was, 18, 20, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Make money? Be cool? I don't know, something? And we're going to talk about majors, a little bit about student loans, and maybe possibly budgeting if everyone's still awake. The average person today changes jobs 10 to 15 times in their lifetime. And let's look at myself. I started out when I was tail end of high school, going into college. I was at Target, the chic French store. I went to Home Depot, T. Rowe Price, Waddell & Reed, and now I'm at TI-88 Kref. So, and actually I missed one. I was at another company for a short period of time before I decided it sucked. So actually I'm up to 6 now in about 20 years. And that's not counting the fact that I was promoted several times at Home Depot and T. Rowe Price. So by the time you throw that in, I have literally worked about 13 different jobs, 13 different roles in 20 years. So now if you were to tell me, okay, so how much did college prep me 13 roles later, 6 companies later? It helped, but is the stuff I learned in college helping me right now? No, not really. It's the building block. Employers want to know that you're trainable. They want to know that you can concentrate on things and that you can get through the training process so that they can teach you about the things you need to know in your job. And here's the other weird thing. 80% of millionaires are college graduates. Only 18% of millionaires have master's degrees. Only 8% have law degrees, only 6% have medical degrees, and only 6% have PhDs. Is that saying that you shouldn't get a master's, you shouldn't get a PhD? No, but it doesn't mean you can't succeed. You don't have to have one to succeed. Some big examples: Bill Gates. He's the one who started Microsoft. He never went to college. Steve Jobs. the one who changed the world through Apple products. You have an almost cult following with Apple. He went to a few semesters of college, and after a few semesters said, yeah, no, I don't like this. Is that saying that you should drop out of college or shouldn't go to college? No, but just realize that, it's just the building block. It's just the beginning, the foundation. It doesn't determine what you do for the rest of your life. And another thing too, maybe find something that you like to do. One gentleman, he's a 24-year-old Texan, and if you do a search in the Wall Street Journal for a $140,000 job, you'll find him, he has a 2-year welding degree. So like all these, you have Intelitech and all the folks who do have the 2-year degree programs or the community colleges. Take that seriously. The whole, you may want a 4-year degree, a traditional 4-year degree, but you don't have to have one to get ahead these days. So I'll talk a little bit about that later. Does that surprise anyone? Yes, no? Questions on that? So with the college, you've probably been hit with this quite a bit on and off today, so I'm not going to get into this too much, but there's some things you need to think about. Where do you want to live? What do you want to do? For me, I chose something at the time, before I found out I was allergic to everything in the area. I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I went to college at New Mexico State University in Las Cruces. And to me, that was far enough away so that I wouldn't have to worry about, I'm trying to study, and then I have the knock on the door, and, hey son, what's up? Yeah, I didn't want that. That's not cool. You can't get girlfriends or boyfriends if you always have your parents hanging out with you. You laugh, but it's true. Our friend's family nearby. I went to a place where I have a lot of my high school buddies going, so it's like one big extended